Hello, great people watching us from far and near. Welcome to the platform that stands for and spreads the news on everything diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's always an honor for me and our crew from the studios of Town Meeting TV coming your way with inspiring conversations on disabilities on the program METE, meaning I am able, from the Ewe language in Ghana, West Africa. We're going to talk about caring for persons with disabilities. With me to do this topic is Dr. Sefakor, my superwoman. Dr. Sefakor is the Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, UVM. That's University of Vermont. And she's an international disability rights advocate, a policy analyst for UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, and an educator and a lecturer. Welcome to METE on Town TV, Town Meeting TV.
Thank you, Auntie Salome.
Wow, it's always good to have you.
Thank you, I'm always honored.
Sure. And before we delve into the topic of care, this month is the month of love. We just celebrated Valentine's Day. How did you spend your day?
It was fun. Yeah, I would say that I had the best time with my family. We watched movie together, both here and home. We had Zoom love movie.
Wow.
You know how we can find those movies, the Nigerian movie, and then connect it to our roots, and then watch the American love story. So with the kids who are connected to American love, and then the old folks.
Like bridging the gap.
Bridging the gap. It was fun. And we had some chocolate from Ghana also.
Wow.
Yeah, the real familiar one that with the kente cloth covered around it, the design.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We want to zoom straight into our topic for today. We want to talk about care for persons with disability, which is very important and critical to us. When we talk about holistic care for persons with disability, what do we exactly mean?
Holistic care. I will say when you talk about holistic care, first of all, we have two holistics.
Okay.
let me make it that way. The one with the WHO, LIST, the WH1, it's the whole of everything, you know. It's considered to have every aspect of the humanity.
Sure.
And the one with the HO, it's more of the interdependent, the individual person.
Sure.
So when we are talking about holistic care in the life of a person with disability, we want to consider both the WH holistic and then the HO holistic.
That
so
is the phases of every person, their social life, their emotional life, their mental life, everything that consists about the nurturing of a person.
Exactly.
We don't want people with disability to be left out. So we want to really talk about how we can care for them holistically for persons with disability.
So when we are dealing with a person with disability, first of all, we consider the type of disability that a person has and the type of care we have to give to that person. So independently, that we start from the HO, that person, to see how the person actually defines himself, the type of disability he has, and the things that a person can do and cannot do, before we can connect that person to the other parts of the world, which is actually interconnectedness, the WHO holistic. And when, as you said, we are talking about the bigger picture, we want to connect to their social, their mental, the emotional, every aspect of what humanity, spiritual, right? So, for instance, when I want to care for somebody who is, let's say, who has multiple disabilities, we have to see what are some of the practical things that a person would like? Let's say the social life. Back home, you know, most of our children or people with disabilities don't have the social life.
Sure.
We try to lock them in. We don't want to expose them. I would say that that is not new. It's not only to us in Africa or in Ghana. It's actually here too in the U.S. system. Why is it the same? Because our people with disabilities, most of them do not have the social life here too because of the system. They might have their gadgets with them at home. They might have their families embracing them. But I have students who do not actually have friends.
Wow.
Yeah, so what happens, for instance, let's go a little bit practical in the social life. When I was working across the states with those type of students, one practical thing that I used to do during Halloween time, you know, Halloween, we know that is a time that everybody goes out.
Sure.
And my people with disabilities don't go out those nights, go trick-or-treating or having those type of fun that they have. Why? Because nobody even thinks about them. So social life, at some point, we realize that they don't even, some of them actually shared their stories. They don't even have friends. They don't even know how other people's disability exists, how they live their life.
Wow.
So I try to mobilize them online. At least that time, one, we had COVID also, but we have to celebrate Halloween with them,
Sure.
which is part of the culture here. So I organized something for them online to at least meet their friends, at least know that in other schools there are some people who have the same disabilities as you have. And it was a joy for them because for some of them, they got to get friendship, relationship, they build relationship there. Some of them got to have emails to say hi to friends, you know. That is a piece of practical social life that we would like to give to our people, to expose them to the community. We have to be very much open-minded about that or intentional about that because most parents also feel that their children are not going to have the proper care outside. So and because of the laws around, so they prefer to just keep them in, which is not good. In our context, you know that some of them, we don't even allow them to go to school. While they know social life is very much, their social life is very much the very prerequisite life for
Sure.
for instance, me. My social life is everything that I have. Because when I have people talking with me and discussing issues and all those stuff, you know how when we meet, we can just sing together and dance together.
Sure.
Our social life depends upon who you are mingling with. So we want to be intentional and open up for that person, work with the person. What are some of the things you like to do? Some people play indoor games. Some people want to just have people around them, depending upon their life. When we bring that to maybe, the social life has an impact on the emotional being, right?
Okay.
When you wake up early in the morning, for instance, today, when I was coming here, if I should have not had that social life open to the world, like if people in my community should have not known me and know how I carry myself, like I'm open to talk about disability openly, I think I would have been stuck this morning.
Really?
Yeah, because
you want to talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah, because it was something that I realized that people don't know what happens to us behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I was ready to come here, right? My ride was ready, my the driver came, and surprisingly, my path wasn't cleared, the walkway, with the snow.
Wow.
So we had snow from Friday till today, right? The interesting piece that happened to me, I came out with my scooter and my neighbors opposite saw that I wanted to come out. And I actually know that was it for me because there's no way I will go. Do you know what happened?
No.
You want to hear?
I want to hear.
So at some point, somebody was like, hey, I say, hey, that's my social life.
Wow.
And then the two gentlemen walked to me. So what can we do to help? I said, can you carry me? That is how I live my social life. It depends upon how. So that I'm sharing my...
That means you are open up to your community.
Yes. And I'm like,
you don't shy away.
No. And my neighbors know me. So I said, can you carry me? And one of them looks at me and said, are you sure? After looking, he was like, I said, if you can carry me. So I hang on them like this, on their neck, like this, right? On their shoulders, and then they carried me.
Wow.
And the 2 other people, when they saw that happening, my scooter was behind. And another people, before we realized, other 2 people carry my scooter. My scooter is very heavy. It has 2 batteries, like car batteries.
Sure.
They took it to the car, and then they carry me.
So let's get it well here. You see, as a person with disability, you, with your social life being very important.
Yes.
In caring for people with disability, you as a person should open up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that from the HO Holistic, it's interdependence. Yourself.
Okay.
How do you care for yourself? How do you connect that after yourself? How do you really understand or accept the disability? Somebody will never be allowed to be carried, right? But because I know what this means to me, I have to come out today. I know very well there's no way I can miss this appointment. And my people also know that this is a hardworking woman when it is snowing or when it is sunny.
Irrespective of
she's always on the way.
weather.
And they just wanted to help me.
Wow.
Because today it's a holiday, nobody's going to work. So they're at home. They saw me, they're like, so where are you going this time? And I said, I have a date, and you know all those things. Because of how I have accepted my disability, I've embraced it, and I know that I talk with them openly. Some of them, they call me and then ask some critical questions that, how do we do this, or how do we connect with you, which actually comes to the holistic aspect.
Wow.
So that emotionally this morning, I am full of joy. The fact that I have people behind the scene who can help me push my vision forward. And that can also come back to the next place that I can actually connect myself to very well about mental health. Yes, the holistic aspect, we want to connect it to everything that is happening to you. In other place, solving issues of mental health, you know, we go to meeting places, sing, clap hands, jump, shout. That is our mental health. That is how we deal with our mental health. For instance, when I wake up in the morning, I need to do something about myself around singing. I have to hear some music.
Okay.
Yes, I have to.
It's a way to boost you.
Boost me, to put me on that realm, right? Here, we have other ways of dealing with the mental health. Okay. You have counseling. Some people do yoga. Some people do acupuncture. Some people do, they go to meetings and just have those type of discussion. There are so many medical fields which have been connected to mental health treatment so that you can just move forward to do whatever you want to do. That I can also say that it can connect to your spirituality also, holistic approach. And I always say that there is no single person who do not or who does not connect things in the spiritual realm. Everybody has something to hook on. So the spiritual aspect is very important in holistic approach for people with disabilities.
Listening to you right now makes me understand that this is a stage where the person is a grown-up and can take decisions or can make decisions for themselves. But for instance, where we have children coming up, how do we help them in explaining to us about the importance of their social life, their emotional life, their mental, and caring for them holistically? Whose responsibility is to make sure that as the children grow up, we are able to meet them, their needs, and care for them holistically?
Thank you for that question. And that question, I can connect it to chapter 4 of I'm Able, which actually has to do with the mirror. And I would say it starts from home. The care, the holistic care starts from home, especially with kids. And why am I saying this? If I should have not had that grounding about who I am from my family or from my mom especially, I wouldn't have had that value for myself. One thing that most of our people with disabilities don't have or they miss from the beginning is the value of self-identity.
Value of self, yeah.
that self-identity that they need to have, which we call disability pride.
Okay.
Yes, it is something that we need to build for our students or our children from the childhood. Why am I referring to this book? Because in I'm Able, I narrated how my mom did that in my life personally. In our culture, when you call a child at dawn, you know what that means. Apart from my mom empowering me that, hey, you can still be on the ground and sweep the ground in the room. Yeah, I started sweeping our bedroom, and then apart from me, because I was crawling from my child, my mom says your arms are very strong. You can still sweep. Moving from sweeping, my mom says you can still wash the plate. So she'll pack all the plates in one place for me and put a stool down so that I sit on it and wash the plate.
Wow.
That is another one. From washing the plate, the next thing is to start washing clothing. So she will pack all my siblings, our socks, so I started with those things. The next thing to what? Cooking. That is training that I had from home. While I was having that, I still have some of my friends who are just like me, who were being locked in because they don't see the value, their parents don't see the values that they have for them. That's why I'm saying that it starts from home, from our parents. So from the beginning, I got to know that I can do everything. You know that I'm very much productive. By the time I started cooking banku for my family, it was a joy for everyone. So even though I wasn't going out doing other things, I can see that I have built myself with those skills. So for a person with disability to really come to that self-realization, it starts from home. My mom will tell you that this is one thing that you can do to yourself because tomorrow I will not be with you. And I realized that it is very real in my life. Right now, she's no more. But that's practical things in my life that I do everything. Even people around me don't even know that I am a person with disability. Nobody feels that because by the time you come to my house, I finish cooking for you, I finish doing this, can I do this? And they are like, so how do you do all this? And I don't even know that I do them. So for that child to grow up to be responsible and be proud of themselves, that child needs that grounding from childhood. And most of the time, our parents lose the value in us. They just lost it from the beginning. They doubt our future. They don't see what production or productivity or benefits they can get from us. So they are not able to do that in our life. They take care of the other able, or let me say, the so-called able in quotes, because I once told you here that there's nobody who is able, right? So they take care of them rather than taking extra care of us so that we can also be productive.
Listening to you makes me understand that mental empowerment is very critical when it comes to persons with disabilities.
Yes.
So when we're talking about holistic care, it really must begin from the love we show to them, the affection we show to them, and the mental empowerment we give to them.
Yes.
Okay. So finding about that, how do we care for them with their emotional needs? What are some of the things that we do to help them?
So I would say that, thank you for that. In dealing with emotions, I came here to know so many ways to deal with emotions.
Okay.
In my studies, I realized that we have a lot of processes dealing with emotional cares or emotional, maybe let me use the word emotional disturbances. So in that child who has emotional needs, at times we have...
Every child needs emotional needs.
Yes.
So persons with disability should not be with an exception.
Exactly.
But
and still,
the kind of emotion care that we need to give to them is what we want to know.
Exactly. For instance, again, it depends upon the type of disability the person has.
Okay.
Exactly, especially if we know some of the things that our children go through from home. In our classrooms, it reflects on them. For instance, if you are a child that is homeless with your parent, you are that child with disability that is still also homeless with your parent, that you have to wake up from the train station before you come to class. That needs is going to be different from the person who is waking up from bed, from home, and having disability and coming to school, right? So why am I saying this? In terms of that, there is a process that they have to be diagnosed, they have to be assessed to know the level of care that they need. And that care has to do with what we call reasonable accommodation, basically because when the child's emotions are everywhere, because there are some children that their emotions are triggered with so many things.
Wow.
Yes. In some aspects, somebody can smell your perfume, and that can trigger their emotional.
That means when they have some sort of sensory or...
Exactly. So I wouldn't box all of them together, but what I would say is we go through processes to really know where this child is and to know the type of care they need to. For some of them, I don't know whether you notice some of our children, they will have fidget spinner as they turn around, or they have something to be holding, and somebody, it's just maybe you have to allow that person to sing or hum music around himself for some time, 10, 15 minutes, and whatever they need to be worked with at that moment. And some of them start from home. So parents have to tell us that this is how this emotional needs are solved, or this is how we work with this child in the house. Maybe from baby level, the method of singing lullaby is no more for sleep for somebody. It is for that child to feel soothing and comforted, or to put that child in a learning mood. So it depends upon wherever that child with disability is and what exactly the needs are. And that is how, but the end result is to make sure that that child has that holistic, or let me use the word, the perfect way of living.
That comes to my concern about should children with disabilities, right from the beginning, be treated differently?
No. No.
Okay.
So I don't want you to end that sentence, because the moment you are trying to
it's like you over-pamper them, you protect them, and it's like sometimes it's the drive of the parent says that I am scared that when I leave my child, the child wants to do that, wants to connect socially, the kind of things that boost their emotions. And you are kind of, you are scared that if my child should venture into this, maybe they will get hurt. How do you manage it in their care?
So in that aspect, it will lead us to maybe the next, our next discussion around stigma. Stigma has a big influence on that, just because if you have any child at all, you don't have any special care for any of your children, right? Yeah. You treat them equally.
Sure.
Now, the moment that perception comes in that this is a child with disability I have and needs to be pampered, needs to be overprotected, which we will say, if you have to be that helicopter mother for your child, it at times gets to the detriment of their lives. Wow. Why? Because we just want to live
a normal life.
A normal life, if we should have, in quote, right? And I see it like that overprotection leads to the place that when we do the little that we have to do, then it is flagged. Then it is, it is flagged. It is made, loud, or people announce it that we are inspiring. That is a piece that we don't want people to look at as if we have some superpower at all, and we have to inspire you. No, we just live our normal life. Wow. It's because the society has actually looked at us differently, and then they try to make it feel that we cannot do this. And the moment you do it, it becomes a news or type of news spreading around. Do you get it?
Sure.
So if we can look at every child with the same lens, with the same eye, with the same care, it is indeed true that we have reasonable accommodation. Okay. That means that the reasonable accommodation doesn't mean that you are making me, or you are giving me special care. No. Okay. It is meeting my needs at my point. So for instance, if you can take this water directly to your mouth, right? And I cannot take it, you just provide the means for me, if it is machine which can lift this to my mouth, that I can also drink my water. We are the same page, right? If I can drink and you can drink, what is unique about that? Okay. But because society creates this gap there, that for me to drink my water, I have to struggle. I have to ask permission. I have to ask people. I have to call to come to my aid before I can have the water in my mouth. There, the attention is brought, and that is the place that people see it that we cannot perform or we cannot do something. And if that water enters my mouth, the hey, hello, she has drank the water, she has, and then it becomes inspiring. Do you see the trick? Yeah. So if you have that child that needs that holistic care, you want to look at that child as the same as the other children that you have, but the only thing here is what is there which is missing that I have to provide, and that is a humanity issue. That is a community issue. Holistic care extends to the community. What do we do to make the life of these people, easier, or not even easier, to make them have equitable access to the things that we all have? For instance, as I was sharing that about the snow, if they should have plowed the road this morning, nobody would have carried me. Okay. Right? But because it wasn't plowed, and because I have built my holistic self already, which is the HO, I just jump in whatever solution I should find for myself. And I'm very much clear that I can be the only one doing that. There are so many people who will not like to do that. And that is it. They can be in their room to call, which I did today. I've been calling from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, telling my people that the road is not plowed, the road is not plowed. They said they are coming, right? So when you create that gap around us, and we are trying to fill the gaps ourselves through our struggles, that shouldn't be a place that it should be elevated to see as if it is something extraordinary. We are just living a normal life that everybody is living. But the moment we put up a little effort to overcome that struggle, that barrier that you create naturally for us, then it becomes that the person with disability is seen as if they are different from the other people. If we look at it from that angle, then we can come to the community to say, what do we do to make life easier, or to live, not even easier, but to make life accessible for the people who are people with disabilities?
Thank you very much, Dr. Sefakor. So we have learned today that holistic care begins from childhood.
Yes.
It begins with the immediate family.
Yes.
It begins with parents. It begins with guardians. It begins from mental empowerment.
Yep.
Anyone who is not mentally empowered by themselves, a person with disability, will find it difficult to go through all the processes and the stages of life. And we also have the immediate family, we have the community, we have educators, we have everybody coming around. And we should not give care as if we are treating them differently, but we must give accessibility to persons with disability so that they themselves can be able to help and care. Thank you very much. Your last words before we go.
My last word, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to draw people's attention that a lot of discussions are going on around I'm Able, this book, because as you know, I'm very much intentional to ask questions, like people should answer those questions that I have at every chapter, end of every chapter, to decode or dismantle disability in their own life, in their own community, and also to have that community holistic discussion. So, yeah, I just want to draw their attention to I'm Able. It's everywhere, it's online, and it's in every part of the world that they are. I'm Able. And I want to just encourage my people with disabilities that please, let's make it work for ourselves from the holistic one, interdependency, and then the community We can challenge the community that we are able to do certain things on ourselves. We are very productive. And then the holistic one, the WH holistic, we can seal them. We can even take them to court. We can even make it work for us with the policies that are on the ground if they are not able to let us have equal and equitable access to everything as we should have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, our viewers. We're going to meet another time. Thank you, Dr. Sefakor, for coming.
Thank you.
Grateful.